Yes, this is Rashawn McDonald, and welcome to Money Making Conversation. I am your host. Each Money Making Conversation talk show, that is about entrepreneurship and entertainment. I provide the consumer and business owner access to interviews with celebrities, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and industry decision makers. It is important to understand that everybody travels a different path to success. That is because your brand is different. The challenges you face in your life are different. So stop reading other people's success stories and start writing your own. Now, you can be motivated by their success because their stories can offer direction and help you reach your goals through your planning and committed effort. The Money Making Conversation interviews provide relatable information to the listener about their career that you can have in financial planning, entrepreneurship, motivation, leadership, overcoming the odds, and how to live a balanced life. Is really important. And I appreciate everybody who listens to Money Making Conversation as the brand continues to grow, not only in the United States, but worldwide, Canada, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. Really starting to notice a lot of people are starting to listen to the show via podcast and via syndication in the United States. My next guest is the CEO and owner of Bella Sloan Enterprises. His company not only helps you repair your personal credit, but also educates them on the topic. In addition, his company helps small to medium-sized companies with funding via their credit, via their business credit. His company has been in operation for over 13 years in the Philadelphia area. He has turned his passion of helping others into a thriving business. Please welcome to Money Making Conversation, Herman Dolce.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you, my friend. Life is good for you, and I'm assuming you're in the Philadelphia area right now. Good. Well, I'm hunkered down in Atlanta. I would love to. I'm a Texas boy, so I was born and raised in Houston. So I want to get back to Texas, but right now I got all the family in Atlanta dealing with this pandemic and not allowing it to win. I want to read something that I took from your website about your mission statement before we start the interview. It's a good, really positive statement. Our mission is to help our clients reach financial literacy through credit education and repair. In addition, we teach and help entrepreneurs to obtain the capital and credit they need to fuel their dreams. Whether you are just starting your business or looking for millions in capital to expand, we have solutions that can help you fund your endeavor. That's your mission statement. What does that mean in a sense as far as, because you felt like you can go from the small businessman to the multi-million-dollar business is trying to move forward in a stronger direction. How do you balance that extreme?
So what I like to do is when I'm doing promotions or advertising via social media, or when I'm speaking in front of a group of people, I like to present the end goal to potential clients. So the goal is to be successful in your business, whether it's monetary or the amount of people that you're helping, right? Mm-hmm. And we're showing the real estate or people that are in trucking, they open restaurants, right? So we're showing that future goal. Why I do that is because in order to get to that goal where I'm helping the small and medium businesses, we have to backtrack to how they got there.
Right.
And how they got there was through financial literacy, which started with having a budget, saving your money, investing it wisely, and also primarily repairing your credit, because that's how a lot of my beginning entrepreneurs started to get the capital to fund their dreams. It all started there. So that's why I really push it for our community and all communities to be really, really literate in how the credit system works.
It's really interesting to me when you talk about, are we talking about business credit or just personal credit? Or are you just talking about both? Okay, because
both, yes.
Because we all start out with personal credit. We all start out there. It's always a joke. How people use their kids to co-sign for loans. It's a running joke within the in the urban communities, and you might own a car, didn't even know it. Because your mom or your daddy put your name in it and messed up your credit.
Right.
So how does one? For some reason, I would tell you this, Herman. For some reason, when I was 18, I knew I had to have good credit. For some reason, I was very protective of my credit. I got my first Sears card, and I'm gonna call out some old credit cards here, Montgomery Ward. Man, I was happy, man. J.C. Penney, and when I got the Sears card back then, we got a Sears card back there. It was just like getting a green American Express card. That was like the bomb to get a Sears card. So how does one look at it today? How does one protect their credit, first of all? And I'm going to ask you two questions. How does one protect their credit, personal credit? We're going to talk about that first. And then how does one build their personal credit?
So let's start with building it first, and then we'll talk about protection of it. So building the credit first, again, starts with you understanding it and being educated on it. So the older your credit is, the better it is, and being educated on it. So I got my first credit card when I was 17 years old. I'm 39 right now. So my credit is really, really old. So start early, educate your children and your youth on credit and how it's definitely going to help them later on in life, because as your credit ages, you're going to get credit limit increases. So like one of my oldest credit cards is like 15, 16 years old. It's an Amex.
Right.
And it has like a $25,000 limit. Now, that type of credit card on my credit report makes me look really, really strong, as opposed to someone who's 35 and they just started working on their credit and they have like a secure card with a limit of $500. We both could have a 700 credit score, but my profile looks better because it's thicker and it's an older card. And that's not the only one I have on there. I have a car note. I have a mortgage. I have demonstrated to the banks that I have been responsible with money over X amount of time. Right. So that's why I teach people to start building your credit young. The older it is, the more stronger it gets. Now, protecting your credit is a daily, monthly responsibility. I tell people all the time how, like me, all my credit cards are on auto pay, right? Because life happens. You will forget. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you something, Herman. I agree with you. Because I'm resistant to that auto pay. Because I hate people taking money without me controlling it. That's what auto pay is. I hate it.
It's the worst. But I don't care how small it is. It still bothers me. Right? I was like, no, I want to log in and do it myself. But what I will say though is, this is a great tip for my new people who are new to building credit, and they had bad habits that got them into negative credit. So I want to start new positive habits. And then when you're responsible enough, hey, I can log in every day to do that. But I give that tip to, do it yourself right now. So, put it on auto pay. So with the auto pay, though, just put in the minimum that's required. So say, for instance, the bill is $1,000, right? Just the minimum payment of $15 a month, have them take it out. Right? You don't need to pay it all off. If you just pay the minimum, you've never been late.
Right.
And as you pay down the debt and you throw chunks at it, I'm just going to put an extra 200. Oh, the stimulus check came in. Let me put this extra 1,000. That's great. And your credit score goes up the less debt you're in. But as long as you paid it on time every single month, that's the most important thing on your credit, is not being late.
Well, let me tell you something, man. Learn something right there, the minimum, because I'm a resistant guy. Right now I'm fortunate. My credit score, I checked before I got on the interview, which was 830. That's my credit score. The highest you can get is 850. And so, but I also know that Rushion has missed, like this year, I missed a couple of payments because I've been resistant to my because I have my Chase card and then I have my Citibank card, which I can pay the minimum, like you said. Okay. And so, and I missed them a couple of times where if I'd have just taken your advice and just Rushion, just pay the minimum, just put the minimum auto, I wouldn't even have missed. I didn't even know you could do that. I always felt that when you put it on auto, you got to pay the maximum that month. And that's what I've been very resistant. Okay, cool.
Got you. No. Just the minimum. That's all you need to pay. So whether the debt is still there or not, 35% of your credit score, the most important factor is just paying it on time. So, when you cross the bridge and you have that chunk to pay it down, then pay it down, but just don't be late.
That's the beauty of talking to an expert. That's what Herman Dolce is. You're an expert. Now I started to ask you some general questions, and we know that you've been in this business for 13 years. The name of your company is Bella Sloan Enterprises. First of all, tell us the name. Tell us about that name, and then tell us about your business.
So, Bella Sloan Enterprises is, there's a difference between having a hobby and running a real business.
Yes, sir.
So, I've been dibbling dallying credit for quite some time, right? I had to put a pin in that story. So Bella Sloan is the name of my daughter, right? My firstborn. And when I was on my baby moon with my wife, we went to Italy, right? I was still working at the time, had a full-time job. Wonderful, amazing trip. We was gone for 14 days, traveled all over Italy. And we were on a train to Pisa, right? And I realized, I was like, wow, I wish I can do this whenever I want, right? But what happened was I had to ask somebody permission to be gone for 14 days. And it bothered me the entire trip. Got home, I spoke to my brother. He's also an entrepreneur, has his own business, 1990 business consultation. And he was like, listen, the only way you'll be free is if you own your own, or else you'll always have to ask somebody permission.
Yes.
And I was like, well, what business am I going to start? He's like, listen, you've been doing credit repair for everybody for free because it was just something important. I was doing it for free. It was a skill that I learned a while ago when my father's information got on my credit report, and I had to write the letters to fight it. And he was like, you should charge people to do it. I was like, nah, like this is important. He's like, no, they're going to pay somebody. They might as well pay you.
Thank you.
I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. So I got a couple of friends. I did their credit reports for free. And then I started posting their results on social media. And then the business started growing and booming from there. And what else helped my business grow is that giving people valuable information for free, right, is super important, because if you're giving me such valuable information for free, imagine if I pay you. So that's how I started building my business.
You know, it's really interesting because we do that. We're afraid to charge people for services sometimes. We're afraid to put a dollar amount because you're afraid to lose the relationship. What if they say no? What if they start talking to you? But guess what? If the only reason they're talking to you because you're providing a pre-service, you might want to stop talking to them because that means they're using you. I'm really enjoying this conversation. I'm talking to the CEO and owner of Bella Sloan Enterprises. His company not only helps you repair your personal credit, but also educates you on the topic. His name is Herman Dolce. We'll be right back in our next break. We're going to have a lot of more questions. You know, we're right now in the middle of this COVID-19. We know every now this PPP. Is the government really going to help us this time around? Because I know I missed out on that loan last time, Herman. So I'm not happy, and I'm not comfortable. I'm gonna get something this time around either. Be right back with more money making conversations. Hi, this is Rushion McDonald, and you're listening to Money Making Conversation. Always having a good time on this show. Always talking to individuals who come on this show to make a difference in your life. They have passion. They turn that passion into money. They turn that money into a career. They turn that career into like a future. They can control their own destination. I know there are a lot of people out there who are working for people. This is not a slam on you, but this is an opportunity to show you, even if you're working a 40-hour week job, you can be successful in that 40-hour week job if you have the right techniques and the right understanding. But right now I'm talking to an entrepreneur who went for 14 days on a trip, and he was mad for 14 days that he had to ask for permission to be gone for 14 days. You know, it's really great that something has to trigger that level of inspiration. You know, something has to go off in your mind. Go, you know, something, man, I can do better. I can be better. I'm not a 40-hour week guy, but it's also a fear that's tied to that, isn't it? Making
Very
that change.
Much so.
Talk about that.
Very, very much so, because you know, there is a safety net in, if I do this, somebody's going to give me this, right? That work week. And, you know, I'm not saying anybody's brainwashed or, you know, what makes you happy is good for you, right? Then do that. But what I realized was, when I started processing that trip and the permission of it all, was that I was capped. They decided what my value was worth.
Right.
I couldn't make more money if I wanted to, right? But you know, there are people out there that are actually doing it. Don't let me see that. Because once I saw it, and I was like, wait, this guy makes what I make in a month, or he makes what I make in a week. So it can be done. So now that I know it can be done, I'm going to figure out how it can be done so I could, you know, leave a legacy for my children. So, you know, everybody fixes credit, but learning how to build a brand, learning how to give good customer service, learning how to be the best credit repair person I can be, and show businesses how to get funding is what elevated my business after that.
Cool. Now that's key right now. Okay. We talked about the personal credit. Okay. That's relatable to anybody because you have to go personal before you go to business. Now let's shift over to the business side, because, you know, that was a part that confused me, you know, having to get a Dun and Bradstreet number. Got to establish all these different, there's a lot of different techniques that you have to do, and you have to get people to, reference you, and they have to be tied to a certain amount of an active Dun and Bradstreet number. So let's talk about that whole business credit and building out your business so you can bid on government opportunities or RFPs and all that stuff, because it really is a lot of things that are happening out there, whether you're establishing a bakery or establishing an IT firm or LLC or an S corporation. It really does. Do you work with somebody, a CPA firm, or we just talking about credit only here?
Mm-hmm. So yes, let me talk to you first about the business credit aspect of it, and then I want to go more so into the team aspect.
Yes, sir.
So business credit is credit in your business's name, not in your personal name. So that's one of the benefits for it. So you know how when you max out a credit card, it drops your credit score? Mm-hmm. Because you have a business credit card and your business owns that credit card, that debt doesn't show up on your credit report. So you can max it out for real estate deals or trucking or advertising, whatever you need to do to invest in your company to get a return, and it won't hurt you personally. That's the benefit with it. That's why I always preach it to my people and to all communities. Why, get your LLC, get that documentation, get your Dun & Bradstreet number, and go get yourself some business credit cards. Now, what was the other thing after that we were discussing? I wanted to touch base.
Well, it was about first of all, you answered the questions about the business, but also growing the business outside of the whole process of establishing yourself and getting the loans and getting the money, and how does that grow?
Okay, so after you get your initial business credit, like I'll tell you how I did mine.
Yes, sir.
I think I got one of my first business credit cards was like $22,000, right? Because the limits in business credit are much, much higher than personal credit. That's another reason to get it, right? Mm-hmm. It was 0% interest for this card, and American Express gave me 20 months, 0% interest.
Wow.
So when I maxed out the card for a real estate deal, it cost me $189 a month, 0% interest, right? Mm-hmm. So I was able to complete 6 real estate transactions in 20 months with that money. So I flipped that $20,000 6 times before the interest rate hit on that credit card. Mm-hmm. Yeah, before it kicked in. Mm-hmm. But I already made my money. I paid them back their money. And guess what I did next? When the 0% ran out, I went and got another business credit card. Now I went to Key Bank, and Key Bank gave me $40,000 in business credit, 0% interest. And I'm still working on that money right now, flipping it a whole bunch of times before that interest kicks in. So that's why I'm trying to, because I got my good credit, right? Personally, right. I leveraged that to get business credit. And now I'm using credit to make money and not to buy stuff.
And that's what really people need to understand about leveraging credit. Mm-hmm. Not your personal money, leveraging credit, money you can go get. And then all of a sudden, when you need it, you can go get it. And that's really the key, because a lot of people, they wait till it's too late. The debt is on them. Right. They look at them square in the eyes, and then they can't go anywhere to fix that problem. And you're talking about Rashawn. Right. Go out there and get the line of credit. It's 0 interest. Right. When it's available, you can go get it. It's called a line of credit. Right. And so that's what I've tried to do in my life. This is almost like a really powerful refresher course for me, because of the fact that, I'm considered an expert though, Herman. That doesn't mean I'm an expert. Because, if you don't do stuff all the time and keep, like if you know Spanish, you don't say Spanish, you don't speak it all the time,
you're going
to lose it. And the same thing with these muscle memory. You're talking about Rashawn. I have a business opportunity where I was passionate about it. Then my brother had to slap me upside the head and say, boy, why don't you just start charging people? And then you go, you think, and then the crazy question comes out of your mouth. You think they'll pay me?
Yeah. How much can I charge? Right. Yeah.
And that's when you start saying, what is my value? And that's the number one problem that people have in going into business. They do not understand their value. And that's when you have to do the research. You have to look at competitors, what they're charging and what they're offering. And then you fall in line. You don't have to match them, but fall in the high and the low, fall in the middle so you can get started and have a justification. You say, hey, if you think I'm high, go over there. Go over there.
Right, exactly.
My reputation of what I've done for you justifies me charging you this. I have a work history. And so that's really important when I'm talking to you and developing it. But also you're going to talk about, remember, the CPA side, the team side of it. Remember, that was the other question side I wanted to find out, because we started on you. You said, Rashawn, let me talk about this part before we get to the team side.
Right. So definitely 100% get yourself a tax professional or a CPA. I think that's another thing that our community is definitely lacking in understanding taxes also, and how to not always pay taxes legally, because that's another thing. Like, it's one thing to make money, but you have to do your best to keep money. So I do have a professional that does work on my taxes, and we actually have a bi-monthly, every other month, we have a meeting to see what the company has done. Let's pay some taxes early. Here's some strategy to help you defer in keeping more of your money and paying less taxes, so that when April comes around in 2021, I'm in good standing. You know, the government just want their money. Pay them their money. But also, what I realized from my mentors that are in my life is that there's many tax rules and regulations that the government has in place for entrepreneurs, business owners, that you can help keep a lot of your money. And if I could bore you with just a couple of them. So because I have that piece of paper that says I'm an LLC or I'm a business. So when I fly to Miami, I could have happened to be going to see my aunt, right? But because I discuss business on that trip, I'm on the airplane and I give somebody my business card. I'm at the gas station. I talk about credit repair. Now I'm able to write off that plane ticket or that hotel, because now it's a business trip. And there's a tactics that a lot of these Fortune 500 companies are using to keep a lot of the money that they earn. And we can do the same thing if we have that piece of paper, which is an LLC, and documentation that you are a real business.
That's key. The real business terms.
The real business. Yep.
You know, you heard me kind of like jokingly complain about the pandemic that we are in. Really, when you talk about trying to resolve you can't just switch on the lights right now and fix the problem in this country, because 4.4 million people are applying for unemployment, and the states are slowly reopening. We're talking maybe a couple of years before we even see a complete turnaround of the results of this turnaround. What advice are you giving to your clients, and what are you giving to any potential customer that will come to you right now who's seeking opportunities for any potential loans? Because we know they're tighter now. Restrictions are tighter.
They're tighter now. Yep.
What advice are you giving them right now, Herman?
So the obvious one, without having to belabor the point, is when you put yourself in position. I always say that first. When you're in position with good credit, a lot of these resources are still accessible to you. So I have a lot of clients who I fixed their credit, or they came to me with good credit. They're still getting capital. It may not be as much as it was before this pre-recession area that we're in, but they're still getting capital to make some moves. Number two, I want to talk to your entrepreneurs or people who are trying to get into this game, is to be able to shift and pay attention to what's going on around you to make your business successful. So here's an example of this. So it was probably 3 weeks ago. I'm in my home office / man cave, and I hear a lot of ruckus upstairs. I go upstairs and my wife is working out in the living room. I've never done that before. And I'm like, why are you making all this noise? Da, 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 da. And then I look over, she has her laptop open, the camera's pointed to her, and she's connected it to the flat screen TV, and it's a workout class. Somebody's doing a workout class. Right. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So I tap on the screen, and it's a Zoom call, and there are 165 people from all over the world on this Zoom call, working out together. It's a Caribbean theme, so everybody got their flags out there dancing and working out. Right. And I was so intrigued by it. I sat down and I watched the whole thing. And then the lady, gave everybody opportunity to dance with their families and made it a real community situation, because we're all stuck home together. Right. I actually emailed the lady after we were done. I was like, well, what do you do? Because I was so intrigued. She's like, well, I own a gym. And of course, nobody can come to the gym. So she's like, I decided to, do this phone call to keep everybody motivated. And I was like, listen, when the gyms open again, right? Continue, bring your laptop to your class, continue to do the same situation, and charge $5 for the link, for the Zoom link. I bet you people will still pay for it. Absolutely. Because while people were locked in, you figured out a way to bring people together. And she's like, oh my God, that's a brilliant idea. I was like, there's 200 people on this call. Imagine what it's going to be like when you open again. So being able to be creative and shift your business to something new, especially online, is a great strategy for entrepreneurs to still be able to make money.
That's what Peloton's doing. That's all they're doing right now.
That's all they're doing. Yeah.
They sit up there, somebody's training, they charging amazing numbers. And it's really smart. It's like, you're visionary from that standpoint. You see an opportunity to make money and you can tap into it. But what she's doing is the same thing we talked about earlier, afraid to charge. She's providing a service. Say she got 160 people and she say $10. Right. She might go down to 50. She might go down to 50. But that's 50 she didn't have before. And she will get back up to it. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
And it's really,
everybody's going to share. Everybody's going to share the link.
Absolutely. But it's really interesting. I always tell people, you can let people come into your business for free, and you can charge them $1. They're coming with a different attitude.
Yeah.
They want to know what they're spending their money on. And so if you're charging people for this workout, then guess what? You're presented differently as well. But also they'll understand the value of what they're getting out of it, and they'll share it more than saying that, hey, I'm just doing this thing over here. It's for free. People don't promote free as much as they promote something they get out of something they pay for. In this case, you're just understanding that my listeners should understand this. How can I get in touch with you, Herman? And also, how can you give me a banner? I got a weekly newsletter, goes out to 90,000 people every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Definitely love to promote your brand, promote your business, because that's what Money Making Conversations is all about. But tell us how to reach out to you.
So you can reach out and call my office. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our phone number is 609-832-3552. That's 609-832-3552. And you can email me at info@bellasloanenterprises.com. That's info@BELLASLOAN Enterprises, ENTERPRISES.com.
My man, I want to thank you for coming on my show, Money Making Conversation. He's the CEO and the owner of Bella Sloan Enterprises. Definitely want to hear from you in the future. Definitely get that banner to me so I can promote you on my social media as well as in my newsletter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
If you want to hear more episodes of Money Making Conversations, go to moneymakingconversation.com. I'm Rushion McDonald. I'm your host.